QSO AG. Please check me in as well.
Okay, everybody, this is N7BND, and according to my Sherry note, it's 7 p.m. So I guess we'll kick this net off this evening. I'm coming to you live direct from the shadow of the everlasting hills, as the brothers say here in Utah. It is 7 p.m. This is the Monday night edition of the Net with No Name. My name is Gary, and we're with the Friends of Amateur Radio Group. This net meets every Monday, Wednesday night. We have a teapot net on Friday night. We check in a half an hour before. This is a direct net, and all communications will go through net control from all of its members. The Net with No Name serves multiple purposes: to promote the use of C4FM fusion and to have fun and practice a nationwide net in case of emergency. Before I go any further, I think I'm going to give the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. God bless America. Okay, anybody else would like to check into the Net with No Name, the Monday night edition?
81HF.
Okay, I've got you down, Dennis. So this is the list as I have it tonight, and I have a subject. N9YBK starts it off. N4NT. By the way, Matt, I still can't get into Wires X. N4NT, Chris. KJ7ESQ, my friend David. KN4HND, Scott. K7HAM, Lynn. And KW4AG, Dennis. Okay, anybody else want to check in before I talk about tonight's subject?
81HF.
N7FDQ.
Okay, I've got a couple more here. So this is the list I have tonight. N9YBK, N4NT, JJ7ESQ, KN4HND, K7HAM, KW4AG, KD1HF, and N7VQ. Nice to have you folks with us. So the subject I thought we'd talk about tonight, I just picked up the QST that came in the mail today, and they're talking about stealth antennas and the advent of Wareham radios going, and what's happening with the advent of it's changing. I remember I don't remember, but I've read a lot of articles about when they went from when AM to FM, and they said it wasn't going to work, and went from FM to single sideband, and that wasn't going to work, and then they put PL tones in, and they kept doing all kinds of things, and then that isn't going to work either. And now they're talking about digital and beyond. So it will keep changing, but stealth antennas in the magazine I was reading today, there's a rooster antenna, and a lot of you folks have places where you these HOAs, and they have HOA wives, and they have to build things that gets them out and lets them talk. This is quite an interesting rooster antenna that this guy's built. I might just have to go look in my junk box. Pass it up to Matt. N9YBK, why don't you take it away? N7 DND, Gary, Utah.
N7 DND in the group, N9YBK, Chicago Matt here. Finally got our wireless 6 back up temporarily while we await the dedicated laptop computer that is on the way. Thank you, N4NT, for arranging for that. Let's see, I am coming in through Wires X tonight. So, just making sure it's working. Seems to be, not sure what to say about if you're unable to connect, other than give it another try, that kind of thing. Stealth antennas. I've got QST. I'm looking at it sitting here on the floor right next to me. I've yet to look at it, and yeah, at times stealth antennas could be very useful. I don't have a call for it at the moment, but the way things are going with the antenna farm that I've got growing here at my house, I may have to go with some kind of stealth antenna pretty soon, if nothing else, to appease my bride. So with that, I'm not going to hold it any longer. It's good to hear everybody that's out there so far. And I'll pass it over to Adam, N4NT from N9YBK.
Well, good evening, everybody on the net. I'm coming through on Wires X. I really don't have any other digital mode I can come through right now, but I am looking at one of those Open Spot 3, the Shark deals. Looks like they do everything but carry on the conversation for you. Anyway, side note on that. As far as stealth antennas goes, I have lived in a townhouse a couple times. Mostly just operated 2 meter 70 centimeter at that time, so sneaking a mag mount or even a NMO mount cleverly placed out on the deck or something was never really a big issue with the HOAs or anything like that. I am looking futuristically. I may be getting a new work vehicle, Ford Explorer, and the trunk lip mount that I have on my Dodge Charger right now won't be practical for that vehicle, and I have to consider that I go through a car wash quite a bit, and any radio that I add I've got permission to do as long as I don't make a permanent modification to the vehicle. So I've got to figure out some way to put something on there that's going to survive going through a car wash. I was looking at one of those rotatable, I call it trunk lip mounts, but you can put it on the hatch. If I can get the antenna to stick up far enough to kind of clear it. Another option I was looking at, and I would really like to know if anybody's had any experience with them, is those the small round low profile antennas is what I call them. They're about as big around as a little bit bigger, like between a $50 and a quarter size, and they're only a couple inches tall. If I do one of those on maybe a mag mount, then the car wash shouldn't grab a hold of it, and I should be okay. So that's kind of my experience and what I'm looking at as far as that goes. Coming up, maybe having to do something like that. That's what I have currently for my work radio, which is 800 megahertz. And, of course, that works really good for that. I don't know how good it would be for 2 meter, 70 centimeter frequencies, though. May have to get on Google and look at some reviews. Let's see. After me was, and by the way, I'm running the NetLogger session. If anybody wants to bring that up to help keep up. After me was KJ7ESQ.
Adam, this is KJ7ESQ. Well, I happen to live in a HOA with restrictions on antennas of any type. So my J-pole lives up in the peak of my attic, which is about 30 feet above the ground. It's kind of the ultimate stealth. You don't see anything at all but the roof line. Seems to work very well for 2 meter, 70 centimeter. And I also use it to reach the repeater at times when I need to get on wires X. So that's my stealth mode. Everything seems to be working fine and haven't had any problems with it. The weather doesn't bother it at all. So I'm going to turn it over to Scott, KN4HND. This is KJ7ESQ.
KJ7ESQ, thanks Dave. Good evening everyone on the net, and this is KN4HND. Scott in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. We're currently clear, 77 degrees. It's actually pretty nice outside. And before I could get a full-blown antenna up outside, I have to beg, borrow, steal, pay somebody to do things like that because I'm incapacitated. But what I did do, my very first 2 meter 440 radio was a Bofang 8-watt with a battery eliminator connected to a AC-DC converter plugged into the wall outlet, and a mag mount antenna on top of the refrigerator. Surprisingly enough, it does very, very well. And people walking in the house don't even know it's up there. It's a solid black refrigerator. The antenna is black, and the cord is behind the refrigerator, and it works very, very well. I talk to people, of course, all the repeaters here locally, there's 4, and there is a repeater in Galax. There's several up in Fancy Gap and Fisher's Peak, which is about 30 miles away. I can hit those things solid as a rock that it draws. So I'm very proud of my very first 2 meter 440 rig. My Bofang 8-watt and a mag mount antenna on top of the refrigerator. I tell you what, the refrigerator makes for a great ground plane. So with that, I'm going to turn it down to, let's see, K7HAM from KN4HN.
Okay, thank you there, sir. K7HM, down from Toasty Gilbert, 111 degrees, 15% humidity, so it's comfortable out here. Yeah, right. My stealth antenna, I'm in an HOA also. Fortunately, I live on the end of the cul-de-sac, so my 2 meter 440 antennas are on like 8-foot tripods that keep the antenna down below the roof of the house. So if they cruise by, they can't see them. My 10 meter A99 was between 2 trees, and now 1 tree has grown over it, so it is camouflaged really well. It still works pretty good, but it's totally engulfed by the 1 tree. I need to go out there and either trim it or move it, one of the two, but not for a while. So that's my my stuff for stealth antennas. I've done in my old house. I did the antenna or the attic thing, where I put the antennas in the attic. Seemed to work okay. Got into all the local stuff, and that made me happy. So with that, I'm going to pass it on down to, looks like it goes to Dennis. KW4AG, K7HM in a group.
KW4AG. I'll make this real brief, and I think I'm one and done for the night. I'm out on the road, so I'll turn it over to KD1HF. Go ahead.
All right, you have a good night, Des. Yep, so far so good. I've always had a little space to put up antennas, but I've had some stealth antenna ideas, and I did watch Ham Nation where they put a Comet rotatable dipole in the attic of a condo, and which gave the gal a lot of bands, and seemed to actually get out down there in Florida. Seemed to work. And then I did see another one where the fellow did what they call a fan dipole up there in his attic, because it was quite long into his garage, a drive over attic over the garage and then into the main house. So he did a fan. He used a cotton board with some metal plates, and then screwed through with nuts and bolts the different bands. But it was called a fan dipole. So the longest one was on the top, and each one got shorter. He had about 8 or 9 of them, and he was doing pretty good with it. And so that's some stealthy ideas, but there are some good stealth choices. That one that everybody uses in the portable M-Pass or something, that's quite the little setup. I guess that works pretty good. So I'm going to turn it over to, I believe it was N7EQ, K81HF for the group.
Thanks. This is Lana, N7FVQ, fine voice quality. I am Lynn's XYL, so I will have to defer all my comments tonight to my technical guy. You know, some people who have pools have pool guys. I have technical guy. So I would agree that all of our antennas are lower than the house line and lower than our block wall. We also have a interesting antenna on the back of our Outback that just clips on the edge of the tailgate, and it just screws off. So when we go through a car wash, I just screw it off and throw it in the back seat. Very easy to do. It's low profile, so of course it has limitations. Other than that, I think that's all I have for right now, so I'll turn it back over to N7DND. This is N7FDQ. Back to Gary.
Well, thank you, Lana, down in Gilbert, Arizona. Nice and toasty down there. You're probably right there with our friend Dennis. It's at 101. I know that it's been really a nice day here today. We only got up to 91, and it's just very pleasant. Anybody else like to check into the net with no name?
This is KA9FLN, Milt in Hastings, Michigan. K4XMN, Chris in Bristol, Tennessee.
Give us a few words of encouragement. We're talking about stealth antennas tonight, if you've had a chance to play with any of those.
N7D&D.
Okay, this is N7DND Gary out in Utah. We seem to be having some trouble. N9YBK, are you there, Matt?
N7D from N9YBK, yeah, it looks like you might have doubled with somebody and locked up the system momentarily, so you had a couple of extra check-ins there, and then you came back, so maybe you want to check on those other check-ins before you go to Milt. Back to you from N9YBK.
Okay, I got two new check-ins, KA9FON and KN4WIS. Go ahead, Milt. You take it first.
Yeah, okay. I called you back, told you a few things, and maybe the system locked up, like Matt was saying. Okay, good. Well, anyway, hope everybody's doing okay, keeping cool, and wherever that may be. And we got the windows open here. It has been a pleasant day. Yeah, stealth antennas. Well, I used to live in a lot of apartments. I've done a lot of hidden antennas, a lot of hidden antennas, and some worked real well and some did not. Even I've had wires dropped from a four-story apartment building down into the ground, real hidden, about maybe 20 gauge or something, and they worked actually, not bad. And I built a three-element quad one time for 2 meters inside an apartment. That was when I lived in an urban area over in the Chicago area, and right now everything is outside, going from mast to mast, or things like that. I do have some homebrew dipoles that I have outside when I do HF outdoors from the picnic table. That's about it, really. Nothing fancy, but I've done a few things. So back to you. This is K9FON.
Okay, KN4WIS, it's your turn. Okay, it must have dropped out. Okay, let me go down the list. N9YBK, let's see, N4NT, KJ7ESQ, KN4HND, K7HAM, N7FPQ, Lana, nice and warm down there, and KA9FON. That's the list as I've had it. So let's go back to the top. Matt, you take it away with the 73 round.
All right, N7D&D in the group, and N9YBK. Thanks, Adam, for running NetLogger for us tonight. Appreciate that. Thanks, Gary, for running the nets. And not much more to add. A very pleasant 74 degrees outside right now. Windows open. It's been a beautiful day here in Chicagoland. We'll definitely take it after the last couple of weeks of very hot, humid temperatures. And let's see, I think that's it for me, so I will pass it on to Adam and 4NT from N9YBK 73 all.
Okay. Yeah, I hope everybody has a good evening, and I'll just remind everybody that you can go on Ham Radio's own YouTube channel and look up Net with No Name, and you'll be able to play back the recording of this net. So if you want to check out your own audio or anything that was brought up during the net that you need a reminder of, then it'll be there. But good to hear everybody. Good to hear that the Wires X room is back up and running for now, and then hopefully it'll have a permanent home by tomorrow evening, and it'll run smooth there. But with that, I almost forgot to mention, and I may have heard him because he came in on. I've got the Bristol repeater here connected in for the net, but right after K9FON, there was K4XMN, Kilo 4 X-ray Mike November had checked in. I didn't know if you had copied him or not.
Yeah, I did. I talked to Mills. Go ahead, pass it on down. If you're through, Chris, go ahead and pass it on down to Dave.
Okay, yeah, I'll say 7-3 and pass it to KJ7ESQ, Dave.
Thank you much, Adam. This is KJ7ESQ. Well, it's been a great net this evening. I'd like to say thanks to Gary for running the net. Lots of interesting stories about stealth antennas this evening. I'd like to say 73 to everybody, and I am going to pass it down to Scott. KN4 HND, take it away.
KJ7ESQ. Dave, thank you very much, sir, and good evening again, everyone. KN4HND here. Yeah, I've seen things pop up on Facebook, advertisements for stealth antennas. People who have made flagpoles, stealth antennas, flagpoles, weather vanes, you name it. There's all kinds of real cool things that people do. And tell you what, if there's a will, there's a way. Ham radio, if all else fails, as the saying goes, ham radio comes through. So thanks, Gary, for doing the net. Thanks, Adam, for doing the net logger. And hope to hear you guys here in the morning on Easy to Hear. This is KN4HND, Scott in Wilkesboro, 73, and God bless. And I'm passing it down to K7HAM.
Okay, I think you turned it over to me, Scott. You were breaking up there at the last. So, yeah, we won't hold it. We'll say 7-3 around. And we'll look for everybody else on Wednesday, I guess. So, let's see. He checked out. So, it looks like it goes to Mike. It looks like it goes to you, KD1HF, K7HAM.
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry about that. I had to find my microphone. Misplaced it. Very good. Nice net and a good topic. And 7-3 to all. And it was a K7LFQ. Lana, go ahead. Your turn. KD1HF.
Okay, well, thank you. This is Lana in 7FVQ. And 73s to everybody. It was nice to get back on and say hi to everybody. We'll turn it over to KQ4FON. K4FON. This is... Whatever, I have it wrong. Sorry. This is N7FVQ to you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Lana. N7FVQKA9FON. Well, anyway, yeah, a few people put 8s in my call because I live in Michigan, but I got a 900 call, so that you're not the first one. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's good net, and enjoyed it there. And I got a guide. See, I got a list here I got from someplace. It's got all the major C4FM and Wires X nets and the time and day on it. That's pretty handy. I can look at it and remind myself what's going on. And yeah, tonight I'm really going to the FCS system here because I don't know if I could get a link from my C4FM. I'm using a 70D with a hotspot, usually I can go to Wires X, but I don't have that radio available right now. But anyway, it was a pleasure hearing everybody, and I'll just say 73, and everybody have a good week. Okay, this is KA9FON, giving it over to K4XMN. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, this is N7DND. I don't know that that person's there. Anybody else would like to check into the net with no name? Come now, please. Okay, nothing heard. It's been a good net this evening. It's about 90 degrees here in Utah, about 20% humidity, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful day here. So we had a chance to go out and work in the yard a little bit this morning and get some things done. So gotta build, gotta find something to build. So I'll say 7-3s to all you gentlemen, and nice to have you with us, Lana. It's always good to have a gal. So take care, everybody. You have a good evening and have a better tomorrow. We'll see you all in the morning with the net with no name. It's now 7:31 Utah time and 7 DND. I'll turn this net back, or this channel frequency room back to normal amateur use.
Great job, Gary. 7-3, K81HF.